this morning I would talk about traveling with little people. I have a trip where I'm teaching at a conference this week, and I'm taking my girls with me, my big girl and my little girl. And so I thought about talking about airplane rides, and I know I've talked about some of this before. It'd be a good refresher for anybody who's taking any late summer trips. But I thought I would also just show you exactly what it is that I take with me. So at least some of the things, so that you sort of have it in your back pocket. And so one of the things, so we're going to Utah, and it's about a 90-minute flight from San Diego. And last time we went, Soraya did excellent on the plane. And in times past, when we've driven, I've always sort of had these things like in my back pocket. So I wanted to make sure that I had them on the plane as well, and they did great on the plane. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things. First, I always make sure that she's got her painting stuff with her. She loves to paint. She loves to draw. Oh my goodness, this child. She's very artistic and has been since the beginning. It's probably, a lot of it is because she had speech delay. And so she used art a lot to sort of communicate with us. So I want to show you first, this is just it's a paint palette. This is the Stockmar one, but you could get a different kind of paint palette. I take this paint palette with us everywhere because it's super easy. So I'm just going to show you the inside of hers. It's really kind of a mess, but anyway. So this is her paint palette, and it's kind of but it's hers. She uses it all the time. I like these because the paints pop right out. So if I wanted to restrict her to just 2 paints, 3 paints, then it would be very easy to do that. They pop right out. You can also get replacements just for the ones that you have used a lot of. So she's sort of my rainbow girl, and I allow that because we're not doing formal painting instruction or anything, so I sort of allow her to play and have a good time. So I pop that in her backpack, and I also pop this in her backpack. So this is, these are by Melissa and Doug, and they come in sets of 3, and you get them on Amazon pretty cheap, and probably at most like school supply kind of stores. So this is why I like this. So this is a spill-proof cup, and you just put water to this fill line right here, and then you screw this really, really long lid on, and the lid seems like it takes forever to screw on, but it's because it has a really good seal. And then when they've got water in it, because it's got a hole in the top for their paintbrush, and that's all I use it for. I'm sure it was the reason why they come in 3s is because it was originally thought that people would use it for other kind of paints, but these are golden in our house for watercolor for this age. So I'm still screwing this lid on. Takes forever. There we go. So what's great about it then is it gets tipped, and because you've only got water to the fill line, it's spill proof. Like you could, I think I've even tipped it upside down. But so it's perfect for the car, perfect for the airplane. It's great for the car because it's a cup, so it sits right in a cup holder. And on the airplane, the same thing. So she'll just start to paint. I take her little kindergarten paintbrush. So that's in her backpack, along with her drawing stuff, along with, her favorite books. And I always take, one little favorite animal. We've already had this discussion with her about which one it's going to be. And so you want to do a lot of prep for them. So she's 5, and I don't spring anything on kids, especially kids that are special needs, and she's got some sensory stuff going on. So, and even Harry, my oldest, I never sprung anything on them. So, but you also want to not have it too long. So, like my 15-year-old will be like, we're going to grandma's house in 21 days. And Soraya's like, how many days is that? And then I have to show her on my hands. So really, we started really talking about it when we can make it work on 2 hands, and then every day that she could count down 1. So, you want to give them plenty of warning, and she is like over the moon excited because of course she's going to go see grandma, and I'm going to teach for 2 days, and she's going to have grandma all to herself. So she's very excited about that. But I also know that because she's got stuff going on, I have to take other stuff with us. So one thing that really works with Soraya and her sensory stuff is I use a ton of essential oils with her. And so I will take a lot of blends with us on the airplane and with us on the trip. So that, and I love rollerballs because you can just roll them on. So one of the things I'll be doing today is prepping anything that I need to take with me. So we leave on Wednesday. Anything that needs to go on the airplane with us in regards to remedies, supplements, things like that. Because I'm not going to be with her the whole time. She's going to be with Grandma part of the time. So I want Grandma to be easy, for it to be really easy for her to grab the roller ball, roll it up and down her spine, roll it around her neck, have her put it in her hand and have her cup it and smell it. Because Soraya knows the drill. She knows how to do it. She does it like without any fighting. So, and it helps like immediately. That's what I love about oils, is they help like right away. And then if we need backup, we will, we'll use some herbs or something like that. But generally, we don't need any backup. Sometimes we use Rescue Remedy too. Somebody asked, what was the last item that you showed? It was just essential oils. Oops, sorry, in a roller ball. And so I was just showing roller balls and how I think they're super convenient and super great to take with you on a trip. Here's another little hack. Now, of course, this is probably going to have crayons in it, but when Eleanor went to Peru, she had a bunch of roller balls, and she was like, I don't know, because they're going to just knock around in my bag. So for those that are on, and these are really easy to make even if you don't have our instructions, but for those that are on our either have our kindergarten or are part of Thinking, Feeling, Willing Lifetime, we have instructions for a crayon roll. So I just show you. So this is the back of it. Roller balls fit perfectly in the crayon roll. So that's what the roller balls will go in the crayon roll, rolled up, and then it'll be really easy to take it out and show our friends at TSA and have them not be knocking around everywhere in there, and have them not be hurting, getting themselves broken or anything like that. So I really like, this is a perfect size. I really like using it for that. Of course, like I said, it's probably gonna have crayons in it tomorrow or Wednesday because of that. So that's my incentive to make one that's just for my oils. But no, those are probably the top things. I was making my list last night so that I don't forget anything, because I'm a planner, and so I don't want to lose anything, forget anything. So I was making that list last night, and really the biggest things that were on my list that I was like, I can't forget to take those, were these paints for her and the oils, because those are the things I can't get when I get there. Those are the things that I can't pick up when I'm there. So, usually when I pack with her, she's 5, but she still fits in a Tula toddler, which is rated up to 50 pounds. Not for much longer, but she can do it. And so I usually take that with me, and that doesn't mean she's in the backpack the whole time, but because she has sensory stuff going on, the airports really can be like she'll just start pinching. And so I know that's my cue that I go, oh, it's time for you to get on my back. So even if I don't have the backpack with me, I'll put her on my back and just give her a piggyback ride, because she just sort of needs that closeness. And that way if she's pinching, she's just pinching me. She's not pinching random strangers. She's not pinching her sister. But generally, getting her on my back just sort of takes care of it all. So she really needs that space to be close to me. So I would keep that in mind if you're, traveling with a child with special needs. If you can put them in a backpack, put them in a backpack. Also, I usually just take a backpack, not the backpack, but I take a backpack, and the other child that's with me, we usually end up, swapping who's got the backpack with all of our stuff in it. So, if you traveled before, I'm sure you have. Most of you can take fruit snacks, you can take applesauce, you can take anything that's little, with you on the plane. And that, even for a 90-minute trip, I do not underestimate this child's need for snacks. So she'll have plenty of snacks, just because I can't, especially when you have a kid with special needs, anytime the overs come into play, like over hungry, and it could be over hungry from like 30 minutes ago, then it makes your life harder. So I try to always make sure that we are good in the snack department. And that's important for any kid, but I think when you travel, they get way fidgety, and so that's really helpful. So, tomorrow before we get on the plane, I will be rubbing herself down with oils and rubbing myself down with oils. I'll have the Rescue Remedy in my pocket, and so we do all of those things, take all those things with us, and that usually helps us to have, like when we went last September, she did great. She the first 20 minutes, she had her arms out like Superman and said she was flying. And so, and then after that, she painted and she did some drawing. and she settled in. Now that, granted, 90 minutes is not a really long flight. I mean, it takes about 30 minutes to get up and 30 minutes to get down, so that's part of it. I usually will take some Sparkle Stories, make sure that my phone's loaded up with Sparkle Stories, and then, that way she's got all of that. Headphones for her, just so that she's got her own little space for that. And that's super helpful with the noise on the airplane when you've got some headphones. Even if you don't have noise canceling ones for the little kids, it's super helpful to just have, like, we have kid ones. They're not earbuds. They're just a kid size set of headphones. And that's super helpful for her because it helps to diffuse the sound of the airplane, because it can get pretty noisy. So, I find that to be like super helpful for us. And, gosh, there's some tricks that I really wish that I had known when I was a younger mom traveling with kids. But, there's stuff that I've learned over the years. And, even when I was traveling with Harry, and, I was trying to think, the last time I traveled with him on the plane, he was probably 9 or 10. And we had a ton of Rescue Remedy with us. Of course, the 10-year-old's too big for a backpack, but he has autism spectrum disorder, and those were rough years. He's a fully functioning adult now, but those years when he was like, I would say the years between 6 and 12 were the hardest. And so when it came to traveling, we had to give plenty of warning. We all had to prepare ourselves. I had to make sure I had enough sleep, because if I didn't have enough sleep, then I was not going to be a happy camper. And that really made it so that we could easily travel. So the last time we traveled with him, like I said, I think he was about 10, and he did the airplane really nicely. And there was a time, like, we left the car seat, because Sam was baby. We left the car seat on the shuttle for the rental car and it drove away before we could grab it. So we ended up missing our flight. And I was more worried about how he would act than I was about us missing the flight. So because we had prepared enough, and because we had things, his big thing was Lego. And so because he had Lego with him, he had some stuff he could sit and work on. We just found we knew that we were like waiting 4 hours for the next flight. So we walked until we found a quiet spot in LAX, which is kind of, I know, a funny thing to say, because LAX is a giant and very loud airport. But there were some areas where they weren't using the boarding areas. And so we just sort of found a little space, found a corner, and cocooned as a family. And we were there for about 4 hours. Eric could then go and get food and bring it back to us. And we sort of just had this little space. And so I think it's really important to, sort of make contingencies for things like that. So when you're walking through the airport, think about that. Get the lay of the land. Before you go, if you're going to a place that you've not been to the airport, hop online. See if you can find a YouTube of the airport, or even just a layout of the airport, so that you have in mind where you're going to go to get things or what's going to happen in an emergency. I try to always, especially with my special needs kids that I'm always traveling with, I always want to know in the backup, and it's super helpful for me. It's super helpful for me to know those things, and it's helpful for me to know, that I'm prepared in that way. That way, if something comes up, I know it's not going to be that. Something always comes up when you travel, but that's not going to be it, because I got that part covered. And so then it's easier to switch gears for the things that do come up that you don't know anything about. I hope you have a wonderful day.